Hello and welcome to an Ooma Office onboarding video. This is the first video tutorial series. It will go over the first steps after your account is created. In the video description, you will find a link to our entire onboarding playlist, which I recommend watching if you are new to Ooma or are looking for a place to get started. First, I will quickly go over the different tiers of the Ooma service. So this is meant for all Ooma Office customers, but in future videos, we may go over specific Ooma Pro Plus or Pro features. Ooma uses a per user pricing. That means that we count any employee or extension who will make and receive phone calls as a billed extension. All other features that you may add, such as a virtual receptionist or ring groups, do not count towards this cost. Our higher tier plans do have increased cost, as some of the features, such as call recording here, or video recording of our Ooma meetings videos, do increase our own costs to provide you that feature. With all of that out of the way, let's begin. Feel free to follow along with me, as in this tutorial I will be going through what to do after just having signed up for Ooma a few days ago and logging into your account for the first time. So we will begin. When you first sign up for Ooma, you will receive this email from our do not reply at ooma.com, the title of which will say your Ooma Office account has been created at the top. As you can see in this email, you will have a main phone number and a password. Now, this main phone number may not be your final phone number, if in the case that you are transferring over a phone number, but it is what we will need to use to log in. And on this login page, office.ooma.com, this is where we can go and put in our main account number from the email. So let's go ahead and copy that over, as well as the password. Now, before I move on from this page, it's important that you log in under admins for this section. The for users is for your phone users to log into. The for admins is for any administration or changes you want to make to the entire account. So once we log in for the first time, and it may take a while, as this is the first time we've logged in, so it will ask you to accept terms and conditions. So here we have the terms and conditions. You can select I agree. This 911 dialing an emergency is important, so I will go over that. So when you first sign up with Ooma, we will have the address that you signed up with on file. If at any point you wish to call 911, we will provide them that address. So let's go over that address for now. So here we go, account, business information here. So if at any point you wish to change this address, you will have to go here and edit the address. Make sure that it is accurate to your current business address, as if you ever dial 911 from one of our phones, it will give them this specific address to for them to go to and help you out in case of emergency. All right, so we've started out here. I have first logged in. I closed out of the Subsystent for now, as I wanted to show you this page, but we will come back to it in just a second. Under Account and Profile here, this is where we can go to set our own password. So at the bottom right-hand corner, you see where it says Security Settings, Password. I will click Edit to change my password. I will go back, make sure I'm copying the password without a space afterwards. Be careful when you're copying over, because sometimes it will automatically copy a space. And here I'm putting in my number. hit save. Now that has saved my new password, and I can go back into the setup assistant now. So the setup assistant is comprised of 3 different tasks. The first is to assign your users. So I have 2 users here. Since I am setting up an account currently with 2 users, I will give them each a name. We can call them Bob. The email is where they can receive voicemails to email, as well as if they want to do virtual faxing, the faxes will come into that email. So right now, bob@ooma.com. Here, you would usually select a desk phone. This account was set as a mobile app only account, so I'm selecting mobile app. And then here, if you want to enable virtual faxing for Bob or anything else, Conference Bridge, you can do so. In this tutorial, we aren't going over that, so I'm going to move on. And then here, we will do Stacy. All right. Step 2 of the virtual receptionist, of the setup assistant, will then go into what you want to do for call routing. We have a few options. So the first of which is the virtual receptionist, which is the default. For your main number, if you want to have it go into a menu system, you can select virtual receptionist here. If you want it to have it go into a ring group, meaning a group of users, you can have it here. I will click proceed with the current setup for now. We will go into each of these individual features in the next video. And then step 3 is if you want to initiate number porting, so transferring over your phone number, you can do that here. However, I recommend that you wait for your physical phones to arrive if you are purchasing physical phones before submitting for the number porting, and we will go over where to do that at a later time. So for now, I will close out of the setup assistant and go over the navigation of the Ooma portal. So, dashboard, the leftmost tab at the top, is set up to view today's call logs, to see any fax logs, and if you want to send virtual faxes, you can also do that from here, clicking the Send Fax option. Call Analytics is a tab for specifically Ooma Pro and Pro Plus customers that goes over the what has been happening with the system, activity, when they're getting the most calls, all of that. Call logs is for specific call logs, virtual fax logs, similarly, but for faxes. And then audio conferencing is if you want to host a conference for with 10 or more, or more than 3 people, it will be under this audio conference tab. You'll have the details in here. Right now, we haven't set up this the conference bridge yet. We will do so, like I said, in a later video. And then call queues, this is a Pro Plus only feature, but this lets you see the current status of your call queue. If there's a long hold time or anything like that, you will be able to display this for yourself so that you know what's happening with your current call queue. The settings pages is where we are going to be making most of our changes. So you'll see I set up Bob and Stacy earlier using the setup assistant, which if you didn't know, you can always open up again on the right-hand side, right next to the scroll bar. So we can see our 2 users here. They'll have a little icon of a face here. We'll see the virtual receptionist here. And if you want to ever change any of their settings, you can always click on them. It will open them. You can click anywhere on an extensions line it doesn't have to be the cog. Anywhere on the line will open up the settings for it. All right. The users tab is where you can specifically see the users. So we talked about how billing was done by user. This is where you can see the users and what you're being billed for. Phone numbers tab is where you can see the phone numbers. If you want to reassign a phone number as well, or when your number transfers over, if you want to assign it to a different extension, you can do this over here. Devices is where you can see your physical devices. Currently, this account does not have any devices because it is a mobile-only account, so there was no devices found. And then system is where we can go to set up the features for some of our system-wide features. For example, hold music under the music tab. Lastly, if you're using managed Wi-Fi with Ooma, which is a separate service, it can be under here. This account is not set up with managed Wi-Fi, but if you are interested, you can purchase it here. All right, and then here we have account information. So under the account tab at the very top. So first off, the profile, as I spoke about earlier, this is where we can go to change your business information if you guys ever change business address. If you ever need to change your password, you can come back here, go to account profile, and change your password, as I showed earlier, as well as any other administrator information. Billing is where you can go to see your billing history and what you will be billed for at the end of the month. So here we have the Ooma Office Essentials. We'll see that I'm on the normal service plan. You can always come here to upgrade your plan to Ooma Pro or Pro Plus. Here we see that I will be billed for 2 users at the end of the month. And I don't have any additional phone numbers. For phone number wise, for billing, each user can have their own individual line that goes back to them. And then you also get a phone number for the company phone number at no additional cost. So if we go back to settings and look at what that looks like, I have one number for my company, one number for Bob, and one number for Stacy. So I'm not billed for any additional phone numbers. Okay. Yeah, and then here usually you would have the billing history and the credit card information. You can always come back here to change your credit card information if you want to bill your monthly bills to a different card. Now, porting, this tab is where you can go if you didn't submit porting right away on the setup assistant and instead you want to submit porting at a later time. You can go to account and porting. To start the number porting, you can just click Start Number Transfer, and this will ask you some questions regarding your old phone provider and let you transfer your phone number. And then prepaid account is for international calls. International calls are on by default for all of your users, but if you want to disable them, that is an option. You start off with a balance of $10, but as soon as that goes below $10, it will automatically refresh the balance to a higher amount. You can change that amount down here, or change the trigger amount down here as well. Now, if you want to stop the prepaid account from or people from making international calls and taking out of the prepaid account, you can go to Bob's extension, for example, and then under the rightmost tab, Features, you can go ahead and change the calling permissions to make only domestic calls. All right. And then finally will be schedules. So if you want to create a business schedule so that the phones only ring at certain times of the days, you can do so here. So you can click and drag the hours that you want, and that will create a schedule for your business day. Now, if you want to multiply this, you can always click on the time slot you've created once you create it, like an 8 to 5 time slot. And here we can choose instead to have it be the normal business days, Monday through Friday. Or if you want to do an all-week schedule, you can do a Monday through Sunday. And then you would save to create your schedule. This schedule is going to be used by the virtual receptionist. And once again, this is going to be a later video. All right. The final tab is the store tab. If ever you need to purchase more equipment or anything like that, you can go to the store tab, and that will allow you to purchase any additional phones, any additional devices will all be on the store tab. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching this first part of our series. If you have any questions, our main support number, that is 24/7, is 866-939-6662. And once again, you can click on the video link below to watch the next video in our series. Thank you.